Hello everyone and welcome to ESO Weekly for July 19th, 2013. Topics for this week. We are going to cover the recent Ask Us Anything article on dungeons over on ElderScrollsOnline.com. They talked a bit about, lockout timers, possibly replayability of said dungeons, and also a little thing about stealth and its use in dungeons.
Basically some more PvE lovin'.
Yeah, man. And then we will go into the MMORPG's live forum Q&A they had with Paul Sage. Alright, so let's go into it. First off with the Ask Us Anything article on dungeons. There will be dungeons for solo and group play. So this is nothing new, it's just there's public dungeons, but they also said there are some rare instances that we can do that are solo. But then there's also going to obviously be the 4-player dungeons that we're used to.
Scares the living hell out of me what you just said there.
What is that?
Rare instances of soloable dungeons. The word rare specifically is what I'm highlighting there, because what the Elder Scrolls games are, and I think what a lot of people forget, and I hope that God ZeniMax doesn't forget, is the fact that half of our gameplay, I beg more than half, probably like 75% of our gameplay is spent, dungeon diving. Skyrim, what is Skyrim if not a dungeon crawler? There's 160 something dungeons, I think, and you spend a lot of your time fighting monsters, going solo through a dungeon just to get to the treasure chest at the end or whatever, and to find out the story of the dungeon. And I want that solo gameplay still in the Elder Scrolls Online. I don't know if you're with me there. If dungeon diving is specifically important to Kyle, you let me know.
Screw it. I don't really care. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Bastard.
Well, this kind of leads into that. You will find caves, tombs, forts, and dungeons while exploring Tamriel. So as you're going out into the world, doing your quests and stuff, and just, meandering around, collecting whatever, you'll find little icons just like you do in Skyrim that will lead you to dungeons, caves, forts, tombs, whatever you want to explore.
Yeah.
And of course that will be an open world though, so you may have other players there, but keep in mind that they do have the channel system as well as the phasing system. So if there are a lot of people in your channel, there may be another lower channel below with a little, drop box or however they're going to do it, where you can then enter a different channel.
So if I come across a dungeon like freaking filled with people and I'm like, no, and I want to do it more solo, I could switch a channel.
Basically, yes.
Okay, because that's what I'm freaking gonna do, because I might sound like a super hermit for saying this, but my dungeons and stuff, I like doing that alone. Especially if I'm gonna go a more stealth route, which I plan on doing a lot of stealth. I don't want to be sneaking up on a dude just to have Leroy Jenkins run in front of me and freaking kill everything, That's not what I'm for.
It's definitely understandable. Then also keep in mind, though, that your whole main quest line is solo.
Yes.
So at least you have that. If nothing else, you'll have the main storyline is instanced to you.
Yeah.
You can't even bring a friend with you on some of these things.
Which I think is still so funny
it is
that
very weird,
they outlawed bringing a friend into your mission.
Yep. There are no plans for lockout timers on dungeons.
Now, refresh my memory on this. I know WoW had lockout timers.
Yes.
What exactly does that mean?
It just means once you do a dungeon, you might not be able to do it for a day or until the server resets, and then you can do it again. Raids had weekly lockout, so you can only do it once a week.
Okay, yes,
so
I remember.
But in ESO there will be no lockouts, or at least they don't plan to have any lockouts for any of the dungeons.
Okay, great news to me. Anytime they're limiting restrictions, I'm for it. So yeah. Excellent.
Dungeons will be properly labeled to let you know what kind they are. Pretty straightforward.
As opposed to not properly labeled?
Well, you don't want someone just wandering into the wrong instance thinking, oh, this is just, something I can solo, and then you totally get owned right off the bat.
Imagining a fort icon on the compass, and we run up to it, discover it's actually a cave, and ZeniMax is like, we got you, we fooled you. You totally thought you were finding a fort.
Yeah, so don't expect a neon sign flashing, this is for 4 players only. But there will be icons, and you'll learn what those icons will be eventually, so just pay attention, guys. God.
Read.
All dungeons have way shrines within to respawn at. So you run out of soul shards or whatever the hell they're using now to respawn or whatever where you're at. Don't worry about having to run back to the dungeon like you do in other MMOs. Wow. There'll be way shrines in each of them. Every time I'm reading things, it sounds more and more like the Guild Wars 2 system.
Yeah,
Dungeons,
and I think
they had the same thing.
A lot of MMOs have gotten away from that idea of freaking backtracking and running back. People don't like that sort of thing usually, and I think WoW now, even when you die, you spawn at the start of the instance. I don't know, I haven't played WoW in years now, but right? I know you're with me there, but I think that's how it was the last time I played it. And so, yeah, I have no problem with that, being able to respawn within the dungeon, because I plan on dying a lot too, because I suck. So I will be dying in dungeons, and it'll be nice to respawn.
Hey, if I'm with
close.
you, I'll keep you healed. You'll be our tank. We're the duo here.
Let us fail together, my friends.
Each group dungeon has a quest/story. Yes, I typed this out, yet I'm still reading it that way. Quest/story, which can change the locations, behavior, or type of monsters. So again, this adds to the replayability of dungeons. So depending on the choices you make, it'll actually affect the mobs in the dungeons themselves.
That's very interesting.
So you may come across completely different monsters, or they just may be in different locations, or they may act differently towards you. And completely lost where I was. Oh, okay. And someone was asking about stealth, and will stealth be prevalent in dungeons at all?
The most asked questions seem to be about stealth.
Yeah.
We love our stealth.
Big part of the game. I mean, especially in single player, we're really used to stealthing and stuff. But will that be have any use at all in dungeons? Because once you attack from stealth, you're open and you can't stealth again. But Zos says that, especially with the Nightblade, there are abilities that will once again put you into invisibility, which is different from sneak. Sneak and invisibility are completely different things, even though they do the same thing.
Yeah, and we know this, right? We know that sneak is when you're crouching, and invisibility is flat out invisibility, like when you cast an invisibility spell.
Or take a potion, yeah. So there are ways to once again go invisible, so if you want to do that. But really, sneaking is just more for that open, or that first attack. Or if you want to get that stun on someone initially and then just take that person down. So it's just more of a tactics thing. Stealth, I'm sure, can be used, but I don't think it'll be nearly as prevalent as it has been in past test games. I don't think everyone's going to be sneaking. Yeah. But you don't know. I mean, we'll have to see how the game progresses.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be sneaking, but yeah, probably not all of them. Now, this just emphasizes a point that everyone will want to take a mental note of, especially if you want to go into the whole sneaking thing. You're most likely going to want to roll as a Nightblade, because I haven't heard anything about any sort of sneaking tree. There's no sneaking skill tree that I've been hearing of. Any of the sneaking perks that I've been hearing about from Zos and from the playtesters are coming from this Nightblade class, or from light armor bonuses or something like that, but mostly from this Nightblade class. Or sorry, medium armor bonuses. Medium armor is emphasizes sneak. But yeah, roll the Nightblade if you want to be that assassin type guy, because you're gonna need it.
I have a feeling Dark Brotherhood or maybe even Thieves Guild might have some bonuses as well.
That would be nice.
We won't know until after launch.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yep. And
Dark Brotherhood at launch! Dark Brotherhood at launch! Do it!
Hail Sithis. Okay.
Every opportunity I get, I have to shout it from the heavens.
That was it for that article. So we'll go ahead and go into the MMORPG's forum Q&A with Paul Sage. And yes, like I said, there was several pages of just questions upon questions.
Ooh, and we sliced it and diced it and are giving you spoon-feeding the best bits.
Yes. For you lazy bastards out there, you're welcome.
Lazy bastards.
So,
insult the audience. That's a good idea.
Yes. Whatever. So they may do away with the initial questionnaire that they've been talking about forever. Aww. The whole thing where you answer, this is what I like to do, and do it this way, and all this crap. So apparently they may not have that in the game anymore.
Huh.
They haven't completely decided to take it away, but they haven't implemented it yet, and they are still questioning whether they want to even put it in. So instead of that, they are talking about just relying on your friends list and your guild associations, and just basing off of how or what they do. I'm not sure exactly how it's
Yeah.
going to work, but that's just what they've been saying.
That makes me a sad panda. And it does, because especially my heart especially goes out for the RPGers out there, because since we're not seeing servers, right? We have this big mega server. The RPers are looking for groups of people that like to RP with them. And this questionnaire was supposed to definitely help with that. So the questionnaire asks you if you like to actively roleplay, and you check the box, and suddenly you're put in a phase comprised of mostly role players. And without that questionnaire, it's going to be really tough. I mean, how do you determine who is going to be accepting of your these and thous in roleplay and who's not, I don't know.
A way around this, I think, and they may end up doing it, is the whole thing with guild associations. They're saying that's how they're going to mostly base how they place you in things. Then allow the guilds themselves to represent certain aspects of gaming. So when you make a guild, you say this is an RP guild, and there's like a check, or like check boxes you can check what this guild is for. So that way you'll know that this is an RP guild. You'll know that this is for PvP or PvE or dungeons or crafting or whatever else. So that way whenever you associate yourself with that guild, the game knows that's what you enjoy doing in the game. So then it can place you with like-minded gamers should your guild mates not be on at
Based
the time.
on your guild associations.
Yes, based on the guilds you have chosen.
Yeah.
So that would be a way to do that without even having the questionnaire.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
No, that totally makes sense. I definitely would prefer a questionnaire.
Yeah, well, because it's more personal.
It's more personalized,
Yeah,
right? And I
but-
don't want to have to join a guild just to say, oh, do you guys line up with the stats I do? I like RP and PvP, for instance. And this is me. I like RP and PvP, and I would love a questionnaire to ask me that and then put me with gamers. I was excited about that.
Yeah.
I definitely voiced my opinion about it, and I was very excited for it. And now they're tearing it away from me. And I was like, man, I don't have this feature that I was not promised. Remember,
True.
they always
Nothing's
said
promised.
everything's subject to change. So I'm not mad at ZeniMax or anything, but at the same time, I'm strangling their neck and saying, why'd you do this?
So, take it how you want it. I think, logistically, if they do it the way I had said, then maybe it'll be easier for them to do. But yeah, it would have been nice to have that questionnaire. Once doing 50 plus, which is a thing you do after you reach level cap and finished your territory, and another alliance territory, you can go anywhere within it because there's no level restrictions. Since you're 50, that's everything. Everything is 50 plus now. You can go anywhere. You don't have to worry about, I have to reach a certain level before I can enter this zone and not get owned.
And that's the thing. Like, I feel like that's where the game is gonna start for me, at least in the test sense, where I can run in any random direction and not hit any barriers, whether it be a level restriction or whatever. Like, that's going to be the start, which is really depressing to me, because I kind of wish they would eliminate the level restrictions in zone. No, I don't kind of wish, I do wish, but we'll go into that more later with a later bullet point.
Yeah. So let's go into the end game and what it has for, different play styles and what you prefer to do. So with small group endgame, there will be the master dungeons and adventure zones. The master dungeons are just a more beefed up version of the previous dungeons you may have done. I believe there's 16 in the game right now.
Yeah, so if you want to talk in WoW terms, picture heroic. So bigger health pools, maybe more devastating abilities and things like that.
Better gear.
Yeah, and then better rewards.
But it's going to be better than the WoW system because it'll be a continuation of the previous story you also did as well in the dungeon.
Right, so you're not playing the same story that you did, say, at level 10 when you completed that dungeon. You're getting a continuation, and maybe of what decisions you made in that dungeon are going to carry over, which, yes.
And then, like I said, the adventure zones, which we've talked about before, there's not a whole lot of information on them exactly, but they are going to be dedicated to small groups. But that leads us into the large group endgame, which is the instanced version. And he did say the word instanced. I was like, finally, they said, yes, it's going to be instanced. There's going to be portions of adventure zones that will be instanced for large groups to enter. So that will keep the smaller groups from accidentally wandering into these areas that they'll get owned because there will be huge ass monsters for you to kill. But yes, there will be these places you can group up for. Before they said 24 players. but they said they haven't set that in stone because they're still trying to see what the best group size is for these large group activities. So they're still working on that, but yes, there will be instance portions of the adventure zones for large groups.
So instance adventure zones,
Quote unquote
translations,
raid.
Exactly.
Raid,
That's
yes.
what I heard when you said that.
Yes. So for you raiders out there, there's going to be stuff for you to do. Something called a guild store.
Guild store.
This
What
was
the
like a little nugget of information that he had said, but they aren't releasing any more information on what it is.
So he just said the words guild store. Think about it.
Not so much. Someone was asking about trade systems and what they have in the game so far. And one of them was, walking up to a person and saying, hey, take this shit and give me some gold. So there's that. But then there's also something called a guild store, which I'm assuming is some new way of trading goods from within your guild or maybe within several different guilds. You can set up a store, sell stuff. Your guild shares the profits. I don't freaking know at all. I have no clue.
Yeah.
All speculation.
Awfully confusing.
But he did say this is one of the main reasons for allowing people to go into multiple guilds.
It's because you can trade from guild to guild. You can trade shit.
Yeah, so apparently this is some new trading system they're going to be doing. Like I said, there's no information on it yet.
Okay.
He just kind of hinted at it.
I mean, sure, whatever this is, I'm sure it's all fine and well. No excuse not to put an auction house in the game, though. Okay,
No.
Please, we need an auction house. So, whatever this tool is, I'm sure it's swell. Auction house needs to be in there, ZeniMax.
Yep. So some bad news, arenas are not planned for PvE, like the Oblivion arena. So those probably won't even be in PvP either.
We're in Cyrodiil, man. Home of the Imperial Arena.
But it's probably something you can like set up if somehow you can get the other alliance to do it. I don't know.
Let's cover the
set
whole
it up online.
The
or
whole
something?
idea, because he also confirmed in this form that there's not dueling, right? You can't duel with anyone, at least not at launch. There's no dueling system in the game.
Yeah.
No arena, no dueling. How the hell am I supposed to settle a score I have with somebody?
Yeah, emote him to death or
Yeah,
something.
I don't know. ZeniMax, you pushed your game back a year. You can give us some dueling. Come on.
You can take gear with stats you like and change its appearance. So this is a big thing.
Big.
So if your gear looks like shit, but you like the stats, you will some way be able to change its appearance to suit your likes.
Yeah, man. We like to look good in our MMOs, and MMOs have been notorious for making us look terrible. That's why Guild Wars 2 had they had the transmute stones or whatever to help you out with your gear. Wow.
You can make this gear look a little bit less like shit, but still like shit.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Wow. Freaking. Oh my gosh. It had a terrible reputation, making you look like an utter fool while leveling.
Yeah,
because
clown.
you look like a damn Skittles package. They literally had that. I remember it was like PC Gamer or Game Informer I'd get every month, and the last page of it would have like, I think it was like the Skittle of the month or whatever, and it would have a WoW player with their freaking. They look like they're wearing a clown suit.
It was so bad that it was a selling point when Wrath of the Lich King came out, that they were saying that all the gear, they basically just made everything brown.
Yeah.
Brown or gray, so it matched.
Let's stick to earth tones
Yes.
here. I think they had some guy come in and was like, okay, let's, it's time to redecorate. We've got to...
What do you mean they're all brown? This is taupe. This is granite, slates.
Blizzard had a
something.
fashion designer come in. Yeah, their nerds did not know how to freaking design really nice armor sets to go together, so they had the fashionista come in and redo them. Anyway.
Hey, before we get the hate mail, let's see. The current guild limit is set to 5, but that may change. So they still haven't set that in stone, but currently 5 is the limit.
When I first read this, I flipped to shit because I thought it said guild limit set to 5. We could only have 5 members in our guild.
Oh.
Guild, 5 members. No.
By that I mean you can join 5 guilds.
Yes. Good.
At least currently. No collision detection will be in the game. This is mainly to avoid griefing. For those who don't know what that means let's say you're trying to get to your quest giver to, get a quest. And some guild of total douchebags are circling the NPC and you can't get in there because there's collision detection.
Yes, I definitely agree with a part of this. It does eliminate griefing. There are douchebags, and you have to prevent them from messing with other players. At the same time, let's not write off this collision detection completely, because of it would make for awesome scenarios in PvP. So why not enable collision detection for enemies of the opposite faction, of just say in Cyrodiil, for instance. Imagine a line of Death Knights making a shield, or sorry, Death Knights.
Ooh, burn.
Oh man, I'm gonna get so much crap for that. Dragon Knights, which are, let's admit it,
Just
man.
say, I've been telling you, just say DK.
They're Death Knights. They're practically...
They are Death Knights.
I mean, you see that, whatever that grip is, where you're chaining
Fiery
them in.
Reach.
Fiery Reach, Death Grip.
Yeah.
Fiery Grip. They're Death Knights. Okay, but to avoid the griefing, army of Dragon Knights forming a massive shield wall, right? With their archers behind them. Like, that sort of strategy and positioning is the shit you see in Chivalry. And that's what made that game so great. And yeah, I want to see it there. So ZeniMax, rethink this whole collision thing. I think enable it in certain situations and scenarios. Code it in a way to not enable griefers while enabling the whole strategic thing.
I agree, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. All right, so Deb's
Thanks
Field.
for popping my hope bubble there, Kyle. I appreciate that.
The whole thing with the level zones, you know, or that zones have levels and you have to be a certain level to, well, not enter it. I mean, you can enter it, but you're gonna get owned because everything's a level higher than you. They say that they feel this is needed because it adds to player progression. It makes you feel like you're progressing when you are, you know, at that level, or you return to a lower area and realize that you can own anything now.
I'm gonna call bullshit on this because, and the reason is I'll try to use a game as an example, like Oblivion. You know, Oblivion, everything leveled with you, and while there's some people that don't like that system, you have to admit, even in Oblivion, once you leveled and had armor and spells, you could own shit. Like, you could go back and own that rat at level 1 and be more powerful. You definitely had a progression, and you felt like you were getting more powerful in that game. There's no doubt about that. Nobody can argue that fact. And, you know, ZeniMax is looking to limit us through this whole, okay, I can go to a zone, but they're going to out-level me, and basically they're locking you down in a zone is what they're doing. What's happening, and I think is the biggest thing going against this game right now, for a lot of test fans too, they're going to go in there at that level 1 day, and they're going to run in that random direction. And while I'm sure the zones are nice and big and plenty of room, they're going to venture into that other zone that's higher leveled, and they're going to find themselves not being able to go any farther because of this basically artificial restriction that's been levied against them. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be tough for a lot of players, and I'm sure you can see that too, right? It's not just me.
I mean, we know for a fact that there's going to be at least a couple tutorial areas that you have to do first. So that is going to be very limited. Yeah, but it's just there's limitations, especially in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to make some people kind of leery about the game as a whole.
It definitely will.
But I remember talking to some of the guys over at Elder Scrolls Off the Record that have, you know, played the game extensively already, and they're saying that the game just really opens up once you get out of that starting area and stuff, or areas, and reach more of the big whole of the game.
Sure.
It really opens up then, and it feels just a lot more like an Elder Scrolls game.
And I'm sure it does, and I'm sure, like I said, the zones are huge, but this is the test idea. This is the cornerstone of the series, is the fact that you can, from the get-go, like, okay, I'll give you the starter zones, but once we get out of the starter zones, we can start running in a direction, and the world as a whole is like, it's open to us, and just, there's going to be a lot of people having problems with that. And I see what ZeniMax is saying, okay, for the need of progression, you know, you can later come back and kill those, say, rats that were owning your ass at level 1. let's be honest, Kyle, how many times in World of Warcraft, for example, did you go
Hard
back
question.
to? I'm trying to think of.
None. I haven't.
Did you ever go
I've never
back to your
gone
starting?
back.
No.
Well, actually, sometimes I would just to feel like a badass or to help someone out.
How much time do you actually spend there, though? How many?
No.
They're acting like this is a big thing. A lot of players like to go back and punch.
RP standpoint, it does make sense to limit you because if you're new, you're a fresh warrior adventurer going out there, you're not expected to have all these battle skills available to you and you can own anything anywhere. No, you have to progress as a person, as a warrior, as an adventurer. You have to learn these skills and become progressively better. So you can't be expected to wander anywhere.
See, I would totally agree with you there if, like, say for the level 1 through 10 zone is comprised of wolves and goblins, right? And then the next zone after that, like level 10 through 20, you're seeing rougher enemies, right? So you're seeing these organized bandits, and then level 20 through 30, even crazier monsters like yetis and freaking, like, I don't know, like, if the monsters actually looked more powerful. But what you know is going to happen is that you're going to go to that level 1 through 10 zone, you'll see that level 5 wolf there, go to the next zone, and suddenly the wolves are all level 10 or level 20, you know, like, it's just, it feels so artificial and not something I'm going to welcome at all, definitely. I think they have the technology. Their mega server is this badass weapon of badassery, and it's supposed to be able to do all this shit. Why not have it to where everything stays relative to your level so you can explore? I'm just thinking I'm thinking just from the point of ZeniMax, where I want to sell more copies of the game. If I want to sell more copies of the game, I'm going to want to open that exploration.
And I understand that it's just not viable in an MMO setting. I mean, we have to remember it is an MMO. There's going to be other players around. You can't be scaling all this thing and expect people to be able to play together. They can't. If everyone's phased into their own phase so that they can play with monsters that are their level, well, then no one's gonna be able to play with anyone ever because they're all gonna be phased in different phases.
No, and that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying like a soloable phase. I'm saying this phase only made up of people that are within your level tier. Like say a 5 level tier. So
I definitely
level 10
understand what you're
15.
saying. It's just I don't think there'd be enough people because there's
Really?
too many things that are already separating you out with play style and guilds and friends and people in different factions. It's going to be spread
Okay.
out so much. I just don't think there'd be
I
enough
mean,
people.
I definitely see what you're saying. I hope that...
yeah.
And I totally agree with you. And everything you're saying is completely valid. And these are real concerns. And it's something I think ZeniMax, though, they have to sit down. And we're not developers. Like, these are ideas they should be coming up with. They've got to figure out how they're going to still keep exploration open to people. Because it is going to be a big selling point to their game.
I
And
guess
it's
we'll
going to
just
be...
have to wait till 50 plus, I guess.
yeah.
Because then that's when things really like immensely open up for us.
Right.
But moving on, so we talked about that for about 15 minutes.
Extensive. I think it's because it's a big issue.
It
Just
is.
mark our words. You heard it here on the Shoddycast. It's going to be a big deal at launch.
Okay, so this is a good one for me since, you know, I want to be a healer. Teehee. Heals are AoE and cone effects, which we know already, but they also have something that they call smart heals. Now, he didn't go into what smart heals are, but based on what I've seen in playtests, just what I've heard. So if you have a spell, only heals one person, but you have 5 people around you, it'll pick the one that needs it the most and heals that person.
Okay.
So that's what I think he means.
That would make sense. I don't know what else it would mean.
I don't know. The heal zooms around and homes on people. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyways, so
It's the Albert Einstein of heals. It does all the math for you.
should call them homing heals.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can have, or god damn, I can't talk. We can
Say what
name.
you need to say.
We
Say
can-
what you need to say, Kyle.
Hate that song.
Say what you need to say.
We can name crafted weapons.
Oh man, dude, this is bad. This is really bad. You know,
There's gonna be a lot of weird ass
you know,
names out
this
there.
is terrible, right? I can see it now. I have crafted this weapon. I've been crafting it for a fortnight. I have gone to Blackwood, all the way to the Gerald Mountains to search for the ingredients, and I have dubbed it the badass weapon of ass munching or something like that. It's
The
not
bloody
good.
tampon. And then it's bloody tampon for sale.
Oh god.
150 gold.
This is why we need like an RP server
This is gonna be
phase.
epic.
Because that's gonna break my game for me. I don't want to see that shit. Just like I don't want to see some character named Curly Nipple Hair. Like,
Hey,
I
that's
wa-
my guy. I wish someone stole on Guild Wars 2. I was so pissed.
Yeah.
Took my damn name.
That was Kyle's
But-
player name. I don't. That'll. It will break immersion for me. I'm just saying. I will laugh. Granted, I will laugh a
God.
little, but still.
I don't really know if it's open like that much, like, the Skyrim system where you can just name it whatever the hell you want to name it. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's that open, but he did say you can name weapons.
Yeah.
So I don't know, or any crafted stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, that was pretty much it for that.
Yeah. There you go. That's your news, ladies and gentlemen. Eat it up. Love it.
All right, so now we are going to go into the developer question of the week.
Hello, my name is Brandon Van Haren. I'm a design intern at ZeniMax Online Studios. One of our goals in Elder Scrolls Online is to bring the cities to life by paying attention to all the finer details. If you could name an inn, shop, or tavern, what would you name it?
So, Josh, do you have a name
The
yet?
dirty sweet roll.
The Dirty Sweet Roll.
It was the first thing to jump to mind, and I'm a fan of failing businesses, and I think my business would utterly fail if I named my tavern
God.
that.
The Dirty Sweet Roll. So I'm assuming the story is you had a sweet roll, it rolled off the table and got dirty, and that's
And I decided to
your
open. I was like, boom, a tavern. I should open a tavern.
Okay, so I guess I'll just go with, since I had a character named this, I will just go with the curling nipple hair. How about that?
Oh, gosh. Nobody's gonna ever eat at our taverns.
Hey, it's a little seedy. It's a little seedy of a place. But,
it just makes it. It's hip. Those are hip names.
Not a lot of people die there.
They're ironical.
It's that or the Underwear Bandit. I mean, that's the other character I had.
Underwear bandits. God. What was the one in Solitude called? It was something Skeever. Like
Yeah, the winking
Skeever.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty terrible name. You don't want to think of
that
a
was actually,
Skeever.
I thought of that, like that was a good name for a tavern, but then I googled it. I'm like, oh damn it, it's an actual tavern.
Yeah,
That's
it
why
was
popped in my head.
subconsciously. It was there. It was stored
I was
away.
like, oh, the Winking Skeever would be a good name for that. Like, god damn it, it's already in there.
So let us know, ladies and gentlemen, what would you name your tavern? Maybe you'll come up with a better name than us. That's your
I'm
challenge.
sure you will. I mean, there's a billion of you
No,
out there.
no.
One of you got to think of a better name than curling nipple hair.
No.
Let's go into the questions from the Shaudience.
Hey Shoddycast, in the Elder Scrolls Online, are they going to bring back mysticism and taumaturgy? Because anachronisms like leaving them out can sometimes ruin the experience for me.
So wait, what was the question?
Are they going to have mysticism and taumaturgy? Something? It was an old School of Magic back in like Arena or.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
You're taking us
way
back.
way back when they did away with that a long time ago, and then there was also mysticism, which I think was in Morrowind, right? And they took that away,
Yeah, no.
basically.
Yeah.
It didn't take it away. These just
They've grouped them
melded
in with
into other skill trees.
Yeah.
Or schools of magic.
Right.
But the short answer is yes. They are going to have those spells that you're used to in one way or another in the game, but they're not going to be in the same sense where, a skill line is for one school of magic. It's not going to be like that. They're going to be intermingled within all of the skill lines.
Yeah, you're gonna see these spells, but just see them under different skill lines.
Yeah.
Which we should be used to by now. Every time a test game releases, they
They do
freaking
mix them around,
They
don't they? That's weird.
all the time. All the time.
So yeah, there's your question, or there's your answer. All right, now time for the interesting question from a person supposedly called Tyrone.
Yo, Kyle and Josh, I got me a real good question for y'all. I played Skyrim and I had two characters, a large black bad guy who fought with a two-handed sword, and a smaller black bad guy who fought with a bow and arrow, a sneaky little giant turkey. Now I noticed when you's a bigger fellow with heavy armor, you ain't that mobile, and it takes a while to swing that big old axe. But when you's a skinny little fence hopper with that light armor, you can run all over the place. With this being so, if I'm playing online as my big black red guy with heavy armor and one of them skinny little brothers with the bow and arrow come at me, how do y'all think I'm gonna be able to catch a little man? I mean, he could just shoot me, run away, shoot me again. Do you think they'll implement anything to help out us larger brothers? Or do you think ZeniMax will just say y'all gots to deal with it and let the sneaky little archers run the game as overpowered as they is?
Oh my God!
Oh, please, can we get more questions like that?
Tyrone, I swear to God, there's gonna be a segment just for you if you keep sending those in. I'm sure it's just some white guy, sounding black, but still, it's awesome.
It's a red guard, man. It's not a black. It's a red guard.
red guard.
That was an actual red guard that phoned in a question. That's awesome.
Oh God.
That's how the red guard should talk
Right?
in the test. Could you
Right?
imagine that?
They should all be like a Barry White, all of them. But
I'm in your basement.
okay, so to the question, will there be like abilities in the game or whatever that will help the slower characters, or just the big beefy characters with the huge axes and swords and stuff?
A big old red guard.
That will be able to catch like the more nimble, stealthy, quick-footed,
The small little
fast
suckers.
things, the fence hoppers or whatever he had said. Yeah, I mean, just look at the Dragon Knight. They have that fiery reach ability, but then there are just tons of crowd control abilities in this game. I mean, to stun them, to knock them down, to pull them towards you, push them down, whatever. There's tons of different things available to you that will help you close the gap, I guess. Is
Sure.
what I'm trying to say.
Yep. So if you're asking if ZeniMax is trying to make this game balanced, I think the answer is yes. If it's going to be balanced, well, we don't know.
It remains to be seen.
Yes, that was my mysterious voice.
Okay, so yes, thank you guys for sending in all those questions. We still have quite a bit of questions to go through, but if you guys have questions of your own, send them to askshoddy@gmail.com. Make sure that they are audio questions, guys, please. Audio questions only. Go to askshoddy@gmail.com. If you have text questions, leave them in the comments below or leave them on Facebook, Twitter. All right, so let's go into the sponsors of the week.
The ladies and gentlemen that make this all possible.
All right.
That was creepy.
It was.
That's like, I'm going to come to your house. and
Anyway.
Thank you in person. I have all your addresses. That's creepy.
I kind of do.
You do too. That's what's really scary.
All right, so Richard Jordan, again, thank you, sir. Go ahead.
Zenithar.
He would like to represent his guild called the Obsidian Brotherhood. It is an Emheart Pact guild and is for PC only. If you want to go and check them out, go to obsidianbrotherhood.com. Next one is from Colton Fairley, I think. Fairley? Yeah. Thank you. All right. Next one is from Cameron Grissom. Thank you, sir. And then we have Timothy Ellis.
Dragonborn.
Nice. Next donation, you might get an email from us. So keep it up, Timothy. Thank you. Next one is from, I guess, quite of a RPer here. Lord Falk of Skyrim the Glorious. That was really hard to say. Thank you, sir. Donation from Justin Colgan. Thank you, sir. I almost said Colgate, the toothpaste. Another donation again from Dean Valentine. Thank you, sir. Tharm D. Kilnsey is the die-hard hardcore guild that encourages strategic thinking and teamwork. You can apply and learn more about the guild at tharmdkilnsey.engine.com. And I know this guy has donated to Elder Scrolls Off the Record as well, because they have a really hard-ass time saying it as well. So at least I'm not the only one.
He just donates to hear people try to pronounce
I know. Thank you, sir. Next one is from our buddy, Sterling Jennings.
He's back, Magnus.
That was a good one. We should, just
you.
keep that one.
Keep it as an audio bit and
dub
put it. Yeah, dub it.
Another one from Martin Hirschner. Good thing I wrote it down again so I remember how to say it. He wants to represent his guild, Daggerfall Covenant Guild, called the Tamriel Trading Company.
Tamriel Trading Company.
Yes, and you can go and visit their website, tamrieltradingcompany.com, and see what they are all about. Another donation from our perspective member here, Alexander Hogue.
Alexander Hogue, the Greybeards have called you to High Hrothgar, and you are now Dragonborn.
You're really getting into this. We should do this earlier because you're still kind of in that sleepy state where you don't give a frick.
I don't care. I'm too tired.
And he wants to represent his guild called Vakhdar, I think. An RP-centered casual guild available to any Khajiit. Our officers are spread across many time zones, and we have interests in PvP, PvE, and social
And
activities.
licking ourselves.
Yes, and pooping in sand. We can be located at vachdar.wix.com /vachdar. Thank God you're putting this on the screen. Where applications can be submitted. They're probably just laughing their ass off at me. Damn you and your weird languages. Okay, next one is from Andy Bain. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Just wondering if you could promote my YouTube channel. Why, yes, we can. youtube.com/Afion Bloodclaw in preparation for his upcoming Skyrim gameplay series called Asgard. All right. And then our final donation is from a person called Pandia Gyog? I'll just go with that. He wants to represent this open source RPG that they're developing with a small team. Just because they like the genre so much, so they're developing this new game. It's called Goss 1, and you can go visit their website at rpg-os.com. So yeah, go check it out.
Neato.
All right, what were you saying?
Oh, I was just going to say we appreciate monetary donations and also gameplay donations as well. We're starting to run out of gameplay. All gameplay that you guys see while we're discussing our shit is you guys playing games, playing Skyrim specifically. Oblivion, we also appreciate some Oblivion gameplay is nice. If you have a YouTube channel that it's okay if it has commentary on it or doesn't have commentary, whatever. But if you have a YouTube channel with some test gameplay on it and would not mind letting us use it, simply message us here on YouTube giving us permission to use it, and we will look at it and probably use it, and be sure to link you in the video description for letting us use your gameplay, as well as try to annotate it when we remember to do that. Yeah, and how else can they donate to us, Kyle?
So glad you asked. If you would like to become a sponsor for the Shoddycast, you can go to our website, shoddycast.com, and you will see a donation button down below our weekly, whenever I feel like getting to it, polls.
Get on this guy, man.
I'm sorry, God, I've been on vacation. So, yeah, that's where you can donate. And, guys, click on donate. There will be a box for you to leave a little message for your little promotions if you do not donate $10 or more.
Yes. Yes, any money goes straight back into the Shoddycast, not our pockets. So it just improves your overall viewing experience.
Yes.
Anyway, I think we have reached the end of our episode.
Indeed we have, sir.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Shoddycast. Don't forget to like and share with everyone you know. Tune in tomorrow for the next installments of the Elder Scrolls LoL series. We will be talking about the Aliens. Learn how an elven race dominated the human race in Cyrodiil, only to get dominated right back.
Oh, you're done?
Yeah, I'm done. I appreciate. I felt that epicness as the music swelled.
I'm sure it was really off key, and people were like, "What the hell is he doing?" But
Hell's having a stroke.
Is there something else you would like to mention?
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, super secret badass video coming out on Sunday. I cannot say any more. You'll just have to tune in and find out. That's Sunday. Don't forget. Mark it. Epic. It's,
Trust me, you'll want to watch it.
Yeah. If you're a test fan, which I think a couple of you are,
Maybe.
You're gonna want to tune in. All right. Anyway, I have been Josh.
And I've been Kyle.
We'll catch you later.
Boy.